If you study English alone, there are 3 things you must do, especially if you need and want to improve your English vocabulary. So watch this video until the end. If you don't know me very well, hi, I'm Teacher Prix, and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Consider subscribing to the channel or perhaps sharing this video with a friend, because every week I post different kinds of English lessons to help you become a better and more confident English speaker, and vocabulary is part of the journey to fluency. Now, that being said, let's go to strategy exercise number 1. Actually, you need to focus on contextualization, and it's easy to get lost when studying vocabulary because there are so many expressions, there are so many videos on the internet teaching phrasal verbs, expressions, idioms, slang. Even I post lots of videos here on my channel where I am always trying to show you different ways to say things. However, when you study alone, it's very easy to fall into this trap of finding rather random words that are not really specific. Even though they are advanced, they don't necessarily help you when you need to speak English, or even to understand native speakers. Those words you spend time studying will not really help you. As soon as you learn a new word, what do I mean by contextualization, especially if you study alone? You need to understand how to use that word. And that's what I'm going to show you in this first part, okay? I'm going to give you 3 ideas to help you improve your contextualization process when studying the new word. So take a look. The first 2 ones I'm going to suggest will be sentenceyourdictionary.com and ChatGPT. ChatGPT is my least favorite option. Keep that in mind. The first one is a good option. Second one, not so good. And the third one is one of my favorite options, okay? What are you supposed to do? You found a new word. I need to understand what the word is. So of course, you need to go through a dictionary, look up the word you don't know. I'm not going to cover that part of the process. But your next step is to find context, and sentenceyourdictionary.com will try to find, you type the word or the expression or the phrasal verb or the noun, you type the word, and this dictionary will give you examples of phrases. Many examples. Here on the screen I'm showing you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm showing you 5, but the list continues. There are many more results and examples of phrases with the word I typed. I typed flabbergasted. And here in this option, you can find the meaning, you can find synonyms, and you can find sentences. So in this website, you will find the definition, you will find synonyms, and you will find the examples of phrases. And this website picks the word you chose and finds online, okay, all the moments that word was used, as much as it can actually, okay, as much as possible. And it is a wonderful opportunity for you to see that word in context. The second recommendation is ChatGPT, which is my least favorite recommendation, because here you're going to give a prompt to ChatGPT. You will have to find the word. Okay, maybe you were reading, maybe you were listening. You need a proper study plan so that you don't waste time studying useless words. So be careful about that, okay? Check my study plan cycle. The link is in the description of this video. But let's say you found the word flabbergasted and you want to know how to use the word. Maybe it's too small for you, okay? I just put a screenshot. But ideally, what you have to do is you need to tell ChatGPT to create some sentences based on real life, okay? So I put here, give me 3 real-life examples on how to use the word flabbergasted. And then it gave me some examples. Now, keep in mind, I use ChatGPT every day. I'm always testing different commands, different prompts, different suggestions, different requests. And even though it works really hard to create these examples are sometimes really off. They don't sound, even though I told it to give me real life examples, it is not always on point. It fails many times and sometimes gives me really weird and wordy examples that will not reflect what native speakers actually say. But it's a good way to go, okay? You're alone. Remember, if you don't have someone to correct your examples, like I do with my students in my academy, I correct their examples, I provide them with feedback and information whether their example reflects what native speakers would actually say. This is something that I do with my students. But if you study alone, you need to use what you got. And these two options will be very useful. The third one, which is my favorite, is to use movies and TV series, to use scenes from movies and TV series. And for that, you're going to use the website playphrase.me. It is not free, I must tell you, it's not a free website, but with the free version, you are able to see up to 3 or 5 examples with the words you type. So I typed flabbergasted there. If I'm using the free version, the free account, I'll be able to get 3 examples. That's better than nothing. And based on those examples, you will have a better understanding of how to use that word. That's contextualization. And many students fail to implement this step. I have many videos here on my channel where I talk about vocabulary. And if you're studying alone, I highly recommend that you watch those videos because they will bring you a lot of clarity in terms of what to do. So here, when I say contextualization, we need to take a step back and think about how you find those words. As I mentioned before, people who study alone waste too much time finding random words that are not necessarily crucial to your fluency. So be careful with where you find those words, okay? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. We have many sources of information here on the internet. You need to learn how to filter them. That being said, number 2, based on the examples you found, recreate them while adding your special touch. Touch me. Not me, your special touch. Now, what am I trying to mean here? I always like to link the ideas because if you study alone, you need clarity. That's what I try my best to do with these lessons. So you used sentenceyourdictionary.com, you used perhaps ChatGPT, and then you used a third option series, playphrases.me. Now, what are you supposed to do? You will pick those phrases that you found in the first option, in the second option, in the third, and now you will change it a little. You will recreate the examples based on your life. That's why I said adding your special touch. But here in this scene, the guy says, you know, I'm frankly flabbergasted that they would even think of me. So he's surprised, okay? He's shocked. That's the meaning of flabbergasted. He's shocked that he was considered as an option. I don't know what it is, but I can infer that that's why he's flabbergasted that he was even considered an option. So what would I do if I were studying alone? I would pick a little bit of the structure of this sentence and I would change to make it my own. So look at what I wrote. You know, I am frankly flabbergasted that more than 50% of the people who watch my lessons are not subscribed. So I picked the beginning where he used, you know, I'm frankly flabbergasted. That, and then I create the rest based on my life. That's contextualization and adding your special touch. One thing you need to keep in mind is fluent people create. Simply taking notes, oh, new word, flabbergasted, surprised. Examples that I found on ChatGPT and online. Okay, example 1, example 2, example 3, done. No, you have to create. You have to show your brain that word matters. And how do you do that? By creating an example while connecting that example with your life. And that's what I did here. I picked the word, I saw the example, and then I picked part of the phrase and then changed while adding my special touch. Now, additionally, pay attention to the collocations you find with those words that you're learning. So here, guys, I did another test, okay? I picked the word disruptive. What is disruptive? It's an adjective that describes something or someone that is causing problems, noise. It's something that cannot continue normal, that cannot stay normal, okay? That is always causing problems and noise. That's typically a negative thing, okay? And when I typed disruptive on playphrase.me, I saw many phrases, and as I was watching the phrases, the examples, I saw a collocation, disruptive influence. When you're learning new words and you're checking the examples from sentenceyourdictionary.com, playphrase.me, pay attention to the common collocations they give you. Nouns, verbs and adjectives, adverbs and adjectives. What are the words they place together? What are the combos you typically find with the words you're studying? That's what I did with disruptive, and I saw the disruptive influence was present in many examples. So what did I do? I didn't learn disruptive, I already knew, okay? But I just wanted to pick a different word. And I created an example based on what I saw with the video. So you see, I'm always connecting the tips. So in the video, it says, oh, he's a disruptive influence and he openly mocks me in front of the class. So it's a teacher, a professor complaining about the student who is a disruptive influence and is always mocking him in front of the class. That is awful. Don't do that to your teacher. They're good people, okay? We have a hard time sometimes. Now, what did I do? I created my example. I think parents ought to be attentive when it comes to their kids' friends. If they catch a disruptive influence early on, they might be able to deal with it more efficiently. Ah, very good. So I picked the same combo, disruptive influence, and I created another example. I shared my opinion about parents and how they're supposed to be careful and pay attention to the people their kids hang out with. Because if they have a disruptive influence, the parents who are paying attention will be able to take care of it and guide their children so they don't have the same behavior, so they don't copy the same behavior. This is a practice that fluent people must follow. I'm telling you, start changing the way you study and you will learn more words and you will be able to learn how to use them more efficiently. That's my entire goal with this video. Before I continue to tip number 3, make sure to share this video with a friend if possible. By sharing, YouTube understands that this is a good lesson and it will recommend it to more people who need to find this lesson and understand what they need to do to unlock their vocabulary. Now let's roll. 3, improve your grammar along with your vocabulary. Yes, grammar matters. What I find among many students who study alone is, okay, I learned a new expression, a new phrasal verb, a new noun, and then they try to create an example and then they fail. It's often related to their grammar. If you learn a new word, but you don't know how to create a sentence with it, that's pointless. Your work will be in vain. So knowing more words will mean little to nothing if you cannot put them in sentences correctly. Especially with advanced words, it is critical that you understand how to use those words in sentences in terms of grammar. Many students learn words, learn advanced phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs, oh man, this happens a lot when it comes to phrasal verbs. You learn the phrasal verbs, but then you don't know how to put them in sentences. You sound more confusing and people don't understand your English. And then you feel that your vocabulary is poor, that your speaking sucks, when in reality, a little bit more grammar work would solve the problem. So, for example, you can combine your grammar with your vocabulary practice. So here, guys, let's take a look at an example. I like using phrasal verbs because this is so typical. Students do this so much. They learn a phrasal verb, and as soon as they start creating examples, the grammar completely destroys that beautiful experience because they don't do the proper grammar work. And this is linked to tip number 1, which is contextualization. When learning expressions, phrasal verbs, nouns, adjectives, especially the more advanced they are, you also need to understand that you won't be able to use them with every grammar point. Okay? Like, oh, can I use this phrasal verb in the present? Can I use this in the future? Maybe yes, maybe no. That's part of your learning routine. And this is something that students take for granted. So look at the phrasal verb do without. It means to manage without something, to live without something. So depending on how you structure do without, you will sound off. It may be grammatically correct. Oh, what a beautiful sentence. But it doesn't make sense. Because of contextualization. So look, it wouldn't be acceptable, despite being grammatically correct, to say, I didn't do without chocolate yesterday. It is correct, okay? I didn't do without chocolate. I didn't manage to stay without chocolate yesterday. That's the translation of this sentence. But is it appropriate? Is it correct? Despite being grammatically correct, I didn't, then I didn't conjugate the verb do without chocolate. It's correct. But is it? No, it's not. It doesn't make much sense. Okay? So do without, we're typically talking a little bit in a more general way. For example, look at the adaptation. I don't think I could do without chocolate for even a single day. I am addicted to it. So I don't believe I could live without chocolate, even if it were for a single day. That's the meaning of the sentence. So you see, same phrasal verb, but now I am paying attention to the grammar and contextualization. All of these strategies are linked, are connected, because if you ignore the grammar and the situation, you could learn hundreds and hundreds of phrasal verbs, and yet your English will still sound basic. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with a friend, and if you want to master your English, you need a master plan. So check the link in the description, but other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!